If I told you that the healthy bowl of oats so many people eat every morning could be either a quiet ally for your heart or a slow, sneaky problem for your blood sugar, your gut, and even your mineral levels, would you believe me? Most people have only heard the marketing version of oats. Heart healthy, slimming, the perfect breakfast. Very few have heard the complete story. Today, I want to walk you through the truth about oats that almost nobody tells you, so you can keep the benefits and avoid the downsides. I'm Dr. Catherin Harris, and what I'm going to share with you is not to scare you away from oats. I actually like oats, but like any food that gets turned into a superfood, the story becomes simplified, almost like a fairy tale. Eat oatmeal and you'll lose weight. Eat oatmeal and your cholesterol disappears. Oats are always good for everyone, in any quantity, in any form. Real biology is never that simple. Your metabolism, your gut, your age, your medical history, and even the way you cook that bowl all change what oats actually do inside your body. So instead of blindly trusting the label, let's look at what's inside those flakes and what really happens when you eat them day after day. First, let's strip oats down to the basics. Oats are a whole grain. That means you're eating the bran, the germ, and the endosperm of the grain, not just the starch. In that small grain, you get complex carbohydrates, protein, soluble and insoluble fiber, some healthy fats, and minerals like magnesium, iron, and zinc. One of the stars in oats is a special type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. That's the molecule behind most of the heart health claims you've heard. In the right dose, beta-glucan acts almost like a sponge in your gut, binding some of the cholesterol-rich bile acids and helping carry them out of the body instead of letting them be reabsorbed. Over time, that can help lower LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol, especially when oats replace more refined, sugary breakfasts. So, are oats good? Yes, they can be very good. But here's the first uncomfortable truth. Oats are a powerful carbohydrate source. That means they are not neutral. They move your blood sugar, your insulin, your hunger hormones, your digestion. And depending on your situation, that can be helpful or unhelpful. The way you choose the type of oats, the portion size, what you add on top, and when you eat them matters just as much as the oats themselves. It's like having a very flexible ingredient in your kitchen. You can build something nourishing and stabilizing, or something that looks healthy but behaves a lot like dessert. Let's start with a myth that misleads many people. All oats are basically the same. They are not. Steel-cut oats, old-fashioned rolled oats, and instant oats all come from the same grain, but the level of processing changes how fast they hit your bloodstream. Steel-cut oats are chopped pieces of the whole groat. They digest more slowly, leading to a more gentle rise in blood sugar. Rolled oats are steamed and flattened. They cook faster and digest faster. Instant oats are pre-cooked, rolled thinner, sometimes ground more finely, and often sold in packets with added sugar, flavors, and salt. On the shelf, they all say oats, but inside your body, they behave very differently. Imagine two people. One eats a bowl of plain steel-cut oats with some nuts and a little fruit. The other eats a packet of instant flavored oats with added sugar and a banana on top. Both will tell you, "I had oatmeal for breakfast." But the second person might be getting the blood sugar effect of a sweet cereal plus fruit, even if the packaging looks virtuous. If you are insulin resistant, have type 2 diabetes, or struggle with energy crashes mid-morning, that difference is not minor. It can be the difference between a steady, productive morning and a roller coaster of cravings. Another truth that almost no one explains clearly is that the cholesterol-lowering benefits of oats are real, but they're not magic. The studies behind the health claims usually use specific amounts of oat beta-glucan per day, often around 3 grams, and the participants follow the plan consistently over weeks or months. Some studies show clear reductions in LDL, others show modest or even no effect. What does that mean for you? If you occasionally sprinkle some oats on a muffin and believe your cholesterol is fixed, that's wishful thinking. If you eat a sensible portion of relatively unprocessed oats regularly, as part of an overall healthy pattern, they can absolutely be part of a heart protective strategy. but they do not erase a diet full of ultra-processed foods, smoking, chronic stress, and poor sleep. Oats are one tool in a toolbox, not a magic eraser. Now let's talk about the part the healthy breakfast commercials rarely mention, the toppings. Many people say, "I eat oatmeal every morning. I don't understand why I'm gaining weight." Then we look at what's actually in the bowl. A large portion of instant oats cooked in sweetened plant milk with honey, brown sugar, dried fruit, banana, maybe some flavored yogurt, and a drizzle of nut butter. Suddenly, that humble bowl of oats becomes a high-calorie, high-sugar dessert in disguise. The oats themselves may only be a few hundred calories. The add-ons can easily double that and spike your blood sugar. This doesn't mean you have to eat boring, plain oats. It means you should be conscious. Sweeteners add up. Dried fruits concentrate sugar. Flavored yogurts often hide more sugar than you think. If you're using oats to help with weight management or blood sugar control, the truth no one tells you is that you must design the entire bowl, not just buy the right brand. A smaller portion of oats, cooked in water or unsweetened milk, paired with protein and healthy fats, will keep you fuller longer than a giant sweet bowl that looks impressive on social media, but leaves you hungry 2 hours later. Another important truth: oats are not automatically the best choice for everyone with blood sugar issues. For some people with diabetes or prediabetes, a thoughtfully balanced oat breakfast works beautifully. For others, even a moderate portion of oats leads to a sharp rise in blood sugar. Why? Because each person's glycemic response is unique. Your gut microbiome, your insulin sensitivity, your muscle mass, your sleep, your stress level, and even what you ate the night before all influence how you respond to those carbohydrates. Two people can eat the same bowl of oats and have very different blood sugar curves. If you already know you have blood sugar problems and you notice that you feel sleepy, shaky, very hungry, or irritable after eating oats, that's valuable data. Your body is giving you feedback. That doesn't mean oats are bad. It means for you, they may need to be a smaller portion, combined with more protein and fat, or replaced by a different type of breakfast altogether. The worst thing you can do is ignore your own experience because the box says heart healthy and whole grain. Now let's move into a topic that generates a lot of confusion: gluten in oats. Technically, oats do not contain gluten in the same way wheat, barley, and rye do. The protein in oats is called avenin, which is similar but not identical. For most people, that's not a problem. For people with celiac disease or non-celiac gluten sensitivity, things are more delicate. Many oat products are grown, transported, or processed in facilities that also handle wheat and other gluten-containing grains. That means cross-contamination. The label may simply say oats, but traces of gluten may be present. The truth nobody tells you is that for someone with celiac disease, the issue isn't just, are oats gluten-free in theory? It's, are these specific oats processed in a dedicated gluten-free way? That's why you see certified gluten-free oats on some packages. And even then, a small subset of people with celiac disease still reacts to the avenin protein itself. So if you have celiac disease, you should never assume oats are safe just because they are oats. You and your healthcare team need to decide whether gluten-free oats belong in your diet and monitor your symptoms and lab results over time. Now, another controversial topic around oats is phytic acid. Phytic acid is a natural compound found in grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. It can bind minerals like iron, zinc, and calcium, which means it can reduce their absorption from a given meal. On the internet, you'll find people calling it an anti-nutrient and demonizing oats entirely because of it. The truth is more balanced. Yes, phytic acid can interfere with mineral absorption, particularly in diets that rely heavily on grains and lack diversity. But it also has antioxidant properties, and in the context of a varied, nutrient-rich diet, it's usually not a problem. However, if you have iron deficiency anemia, zinc deficiency, or another mineral issue, and you rely heavily on oats and other high phytate foods, the way you prepare them matters. Soaking, fermenting, or sprouting grains can reduce phytic acid levels and improve mineral bioavailability. Even simply soaking oats overnight in an acidic medium like yogurt or kefir, or combining them with vitamin C-rich foods like berries or citrus can help. You don't need to obsess over every molecule, but you also shouldn't pretend phytic acid doesn't exist if you're already struggling with mineral deficiencies. Another hidden truth about oats is how they affect your gut. Many people find that oats help relieve constipation because of their fiber content. That's often true, especially if your diet has been low in fiber. The soluble fiber in oats feeds beneficial bacteria in your colon and can increase the production of short-chain fatty acids, compounds that support gut health and may have systemic benefits. But not everyone's gut responds the same way. For some people with irritable bowel syndrome or a sensitive digestive tract, oats can cause bloating, gas, or discomfort, especially if they suddenly increase their intake or choose heavily processed forms with additives. If you notice that your digestion changes when you add oats, better or worse, that's worth paying attention to. You may need to start with smaller portions, combine oats with other gentle fibers, or even choose a different grain if oats simply don't agree with you. There is no single grain that every human gut loves. Listening to your body is far more intelligent than forcing a superfood because a headline told you to. We also need to talk about the form in which you eat oats. There's a big difference between a bowl of plain oats and a processed oat-based bar, cookie, or cereal. Once oats are turned into flour, puffed, extruded, or baked with sugars and fats, you're not eating the same thing metabolically. Yes, technically there are oats in that granola bar or that healthy cookie, but your blood sugar, insulin, and appetite might respond as if you had eaten any other sweet snack. Food companies love to highlight made with whole grains or contains oats on the front of a package. But the truth about that product is on the back, the ingredient list and the sugar content. If you want to enjoy oats for their benefits, the closer you stay to their original form, the better. Steel cut, rolled, or even oat groats you cook from scratch are all options. You can still bake with oats, but think of those recipes as treats, not as nutritional anchors. The label does not magically make a cookie a health food just because oats are involved. Now let's bring all these truths together into something practical. If you enjoy oats and want to use them to support your health instead of working against it, how should you actually eat them? Picture your bowl as a simple formula. Moderate oats, plus protein, plus healthy fat, plus color from plants. Moderate oats means a portion that matches your body and your goals, not an enormous bowl put together for a photo. For many adults, that might be around half a cup of dry oats, more or less depending on activity level and blood sugar control. Protein could be Greek yogurt, a scoop of protein powder, eggs on the side, or cottage cheese. Healthy fat could be a small handful of nuts or seeds, a spoonful of nut butter, or some chia seeds. Color from plants might be berries, sliced apple, or a little grated carrot and cinnamon in a carrot cake style bowl, without turning it into a sugar bomb. When you build oats this way, you slow down digestion, blunt the blood sugar spike, increase satiety, and actually give your body the chance to use the nutrients in that grain in a stable, supportive way. You move from carby dessert in disguise to balanced meal that happens to feature oats. Another practical truth, timing matters. For some people, a higher carb breakfast fits well, especially if they're active in the morning. For others, especially those who are very insulin resistant or who feel sluggish after carbs, oats might be better later in the day or not every day. You are allowed to experiment. You don't have to force oats into your routine just because everyone else does. Health is not about copying your neighbor's breakfast. It's about understanding how your own body responds. There are also people for whom oats might not be a good regular choice at all. If you have celiac disease and cannot tolerate even certified gluten-free oats, there are many other whole grains and pseudo grains you can use. If you have very brittle blood sugar control and have tried multiple ways of preparing oats without success, your best breakfast might be more protein-centered: eggs, plain yogurt, fish, tofu, or other options. If you have severe mineral deficiencies and rely heavily on high phytate foods, you may need a more personalized plan with your healthcare team. The point is not to force oats into every life, but to place them in the right context. You may also have heard worries about pesticide residues, like glyphosate, in oats. It's true that some testing has found traces of residues on certain oat products. That doesn't mean all oats are dangerous, but it is another reason to be selective and not base your entire diet on any single grain. Buying from reputable brands, choosing organic when possible, and emphasizing variety in your grains and overall diet can reduce your exposure to any single potential contaminant. Variety is one of the simplest, most underrated forms of nutritional protection. So, what is the real truth about oats that nobody tells you? It's not a dramatic secret. It's that oats are powerful, but not perfect. They are a tool, not a miracle. They can help lower LDL cholesterol, support gut health, and keep you full, but only when used wisely, in the right form, with the right companions in the bowl, in a body that tolerates them well. They can also spike your blood sugar, hide large amounts of sugar and calories when loaded with toppings, interfere modestly with mineral absorption in certain contexts, and cause problems for a small but real group of people with celiac disease or sensitive guts. You don't need to fear oats, and you don't need to worship them. You need to understand them. Take a look at your own morning routine. What kind of oats are you eating? How much? What do you add on top? How do you feel an hour or two later? Energized and satisfied, or sleepy and craving more sugar? Are you using oats as part of a balanced pattern, or as a label to feel better about a dessert-like breakfast? The next time you stand in front of the oat section at the store, I want you to see beyond the heart-healthy claims. Ask yourself, which option is closer to the original grain? Which one has fewer added sugars and flavors? How can I pair this with protein, fat, and colorful plants at home? That's how you turn marketing into real health support. And remember, no video, no food, and no doctor on a screen replaces your personal healthcare provider, your blood work, and your lived experience in your own body. If you have diabetes, celiac disease, serious digestive issues, or mineral deficiencies, talk with your healthcare team before making big changes. Use information like this as a starting point for better questions, not as a final verdict. I'm Dr. Catherin Harris. I hope now, when you look at a bowl of oats, you'll see not just a trendy breakfast, but a powerful ingredient you can shape. The truth about oats is not that they are good or bad. The truth is that in the right hands, your hands, they can be tailored to support the heart, the gut, and the life you actually want to live.